I'm worried about Disney. You see, Disney's always been held up as being an example of one of the most creative companies out there, and they've, in their history, produced some of the best artistic work across the film genre. And I don't think anyone can disagree with that, just based on their track record of how consistently they've produced high quality work. But I'm worried that that might be coming to a close soon. You see, yesterday we went to the cinema to watch the new Mary Poppins film. And I did that with my fiance because we both had such beautiful memories of the original Mary Poppins film from many, many, many decades ago that we both watched when we were children. But what I noticed there is a theme that's become more and more prevalent in the cinema industry, but specifically with Disney in the last couple of years. Disney seems to just be taking its original ideas from many decades ago that they know have worked, and they're just producing new versions of it. They're producing live-action remakes or high-quality CGI remakes of some of their most beloved animated movies from many years ago. And Mary Poppins is one example of this. Many of you know the Julie Andrews version. I think it was from the 1960s, which is still a beautiful classic movie nowadays, especially at the time when it fused live-action performance with animation. But the one that I watched yesterday just seemed to fall quite flat. Not only that, it seemed to more or less imitate the original film by having a new version of more or less every feature from the original film, from the dancing lamplighters compared to the chimney sweeps, the songs in the house, the sad song followed by the more upbeat song, even the same nanny dealing with essentially the same set of children, and worst of all, a dance number where the same animated penguins from the original film danced with the new Mary Poppins in the new film. And this isn't the only example of this. In the last couple of years, Disney has already made remakes of The Jungle Book, Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast, Alice in Wonderland, and I saw recently what list of movies they've got coming up as live-action remakes. Some of you may have already seen the adverts for Dumbo, which were playing as previews during the Mary Poppins film, but they've also got Aladdin, one of my favorite movies of all time. They've got a new digital version of The Lion King. They've got The Little Mermaid. They've got even Lady and the Tramp, an animated film about dogs that they're going to redo as a new high-quality CG movie with live action. And the question I ask myself is, why are they doing this? Why is a company that's synonymous with originality and creativity relying on the ability to just retake its previous ideas and more or less reproduce them, not quite word for word, but following the same story beats? And the answer is, it's always a lot safer to just go off what's previously worked than to try something risky by being original. And Disney has, as I said, has produced some remakes recently, and the numbers actually back up that this is a sound financial decision for them. I've got the list of the recently released movies here. I mean, The Jungle Book that they released a couple of years ago made nearly $1 billion. It made $966 million in the worldwide box office. Cinderella that they released in 2015 made $543 million. Maleficent with Angelina Jolie made $758 million. And then there's Alice in Wonderland, which made over $1 billion, and Beauty and the Beast, which recently made more than $1.2 billion. These are numbers that up until a couple of years ago, when the real franchise system really started coming into Hollywood, were just unheard of. And so Disney is looking at these numbers, and it kind of serves as evidence that people are willing to go and watch the same story retold in a different way, especially people who are nostalgic and remember fondly the original animated movies from their childhood, much like I did myself. Now, it doesn't always work. They've also had two movies which were not quite as successful. Pete's Dragon, which was a remake of the original animated Pete's Dragon, which only made $143 million, which is still a huge amount of money. And then Christopher Robin, which came out last year, the remake of Winnie the Pooh, which only made $197 million, which is still nearly $200 million. But it just shows that from a business standpoint, Disney has made a calculated decision that people are willing to pay for nostalgia. And there seems to be this wave of nostalgia that comes in a generational format. I have many Disney movies from my childhood that I remember very fondly. And people who grew up before me also have Disney movies that they remember very fondly. And as our generations grow up and new movies come out that we remember fondly from our childhood, we probably want to take our own children to go and watch those. Last night in the cinema, there were a couple of families there with young children, the parents of whom probably remembered Mary Poppins very fondly. Now, whether or not the movie is as good as the original one is up for debate. Personally, I didn't like the new Mary Poppins as much as the original one. But is it okay for Disney to retake these old ideas just for a financial gain, rather than actually investing in producing new original ideas, which might be more risky, but have the potential of inspiring a whole new generation of children and adults and creators themselves? So let me know down in the comments below whether or not you think it's okay to just rehash old ideas, or whether or not you think it's important to actually invest in new creative ideas, even though there's a higher risk that they might not work. So once again, thank you for listening. It's been Nick Skillicorn here from Idea to Value. Don't forget to go to ideatovalue.com, sign up for our newsletter, sign up for our free training, and have a good weekend, and I'll speak to you again soon. Thank you so much for listening. If you liked it, please like, share, and subscribe, and leave me a comment about what you thought and what you'd like to see more about. If you want to take your creativity and innovation capabilities to the next level, then invest in yourself with the premium training only available at ideatovalue.com. These exclusive training modules have all been put together by me, Nick Skillicorn, and have been used by thousands of artists, innovation leaders, and CEOs to become better at understanding the source of their creativity and executing on their innovation ambitions. And there is no risk to you, as they are backed by our money-back guarantee. Now, don't forget to go out there and make your ideas a reality. See you again soon.